Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. And first thing I gotta say is wow, this is a look we've got going on today, guys. And honestly, at first I was like, maybe I should get ready and do my hair. And then I was like, why though? I just thought I would keep it casual and comfy in general for today's video theme because today I'm sitting down and answering all the questions you guys submitted to me on Instagram. And I am not holding anything back. I'm gonna be answering everything from my marriage to regrets that I have to am I still friends with people. I am letting it all fly in today's video, including my hair. So if you like today's video, please give it a thumbs up to let me know, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos. Wanted to say a huge thank you to Corey for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get into the questions. I asked you guys to submit your questions over on Instagram, so you might see one of your questions appear during this Q&A, and if you missed out and you want to be able to submit a question for next time, make sure to follow me over on Instagram. So I got a lot of questions about my relationship with my husband, so I figured I'd just combine a couple of them here. What annoying habit does Cody have that kills you? Let me just put it this way. There's two kinds of people in this world, you know? The first kind eats a meal and then immediately when they're done eating the meal, gets up and puts their dishes in the dishwasher. The second kind of person eats a meal and is a savage. They don't put their dishes in the dishwasher. They put them literally anywhere else. I think it's pretty obvious that I'm the first type of person. I married the second type of person. Cody, once a meal is done, takes his dish, gets up, and puts it in the sink, or he'll put it next to the sink. My favorite is that he'll put it on top of the dishwasher. Like somehow it's gonna magically teleport from the top inside of the dishwasher. I've asked him before, like, hey, why do you put your dishes in the sink? And he's always like, it's gotta soak. What do you mean it's gotta soak? I just come up with like the next Enneagram test for relationships, like, are you a type 1 or are you a type 2? The way type 2s like to celebrate Christmas. Date night ideas for type 1. It's painful. To be fair, Cody would probably say that I have clothes that need to be hung up that are left laying around. But the way I justify that is if I have clothes that need to be hung up, they're usually on my dresser, so not a shared space. And clothes don't attract bugs or smell. If I leave a dress on the dresser, it ain't hurting anybody, you know? But I just had to share that because neither of us are perfect. And next, a common question I got was, how does a relationship work when someone is so extroverted on social media and someone is more private? And obviously this is going to depend on everyone's particular situation. For my relationship, it helped that Cody knew when he met me that I was a YouTuber. I've been doing this now for 10 plus years. Along those lines, everything I share on social media is kind of like my own personal hobbies related to fashion and home decor and organization. It doesn't really revolve around like my personal life, and I never made it revolve around my relationships or now my marriage. Like, I don't really share those details of my life. So Cody knows that at any point, if he wanted to be involved in my social media, he totally can, and it's open to him. I think really what it boils down to is just honest communication and boundaries. When it comes to a date night out with my husband, I might snap a picture of the food I'm eating or take a boomerang of the restaurant, but that's where it ends. I am not using a date night out with my husband to shoot like 30 minutes of content and having him take my outfit photo and setting up the food at the restaurant. Like if I want to do something like that, I actually set up a content shoot and I make it like a work thing. I keep very clear boundaries between my work and my social media and my family and my personal life. Really big boundary, y'all. Someone asked me, can you talk about the process of designing your rings and show us a close-up? They're gorgeous. Thank you so much. That is so sweet, and obviously I think so too, but I'm obviously very biased because my husband gave them to me and I obviously love them. My rings are to Corey, and to Corey has been a huge part of our love story. I went more into my backstory with Corey, the company, in a video I recently posted, which I will share down below if you're more interested in that. But a little backstory on Corey. They are a family-owned company. They do all of their jewelry design and production in California, and I used to work with Decori back when I lived in California in LA. I've actually been to their showroom. All of their jewelry is so well thought out. It's so beautiful, so intricate, and actually every piece of their jewelry has their signature crescent detailing, which is so cool to be able to see on all of their pieces. It really ties them all together, and it's how you know you're looking at a Decori piece of jewelry. So when Cody and I were both living in LA and I was working with Decori, he actually was secretly working with the brand to create and design my dream engagement ring. It's an emerald cut diamond with a diamond bloom around the center stone and diamonds around the band. And there's the crescent detailing around the band as well. And to me, it is seriously so stunning. I am so in love with this ring. And we actually just celebrated our 3-year wedding anniversary, which is really special to us, obviously. And it's just crazy because I looked at my engagement ring and I love it even more now than I did then. It's so special to me. My husband's wedding band is also from Decori, and his band also has the crescent detailing on it. And I love that obviously our rings are so different in our own personal style, but they have that matching element to it, so that feels really special. Thank you so much again to Decori for being such a big part of our love story and for sponsoring today's video. So I got a lot of questions about the home selling process and the moving process. How come you sold your dream house? And did you end up losing money, or did you save money in the move? And some people ask some questions like, do you feel silly that you bought too much house the first time around? So I talk in much more detail about why we moved out of our house in a video I posted earlier this year, pre-pandemic. I'll link that down below. It was ways we're saving money in 2020. We actually did end up selling the house for a little bit more than what we paid for, which is pretty crazy if you think about in today's time with the world right now. But we did still end up losing money just purely off of the realtor fees and the closing costs. Over the next year, over the next 2 years living in this house, the amount of money we're going to be saving just purely off of tax payments and monthly payments alone, it will still end up being worth it for us to have moved, and we will end up saving more than we would have had we not sold the house and stayed in the house for that year or two. And then the question was like, did you feel silly that you bought too much house? No, because we didn't buy too much house the first time around. Living in each place, you'll learn what you like about a place, you'll learn what you don't like about a place. But if anything, like, I miss the amount of storage that we had in that house. I wish we could have that house in this location. So along those lines, I've been very upfront with you guys that this is not our forever home. We've said that hopefully, like, we would love to end up moving somewhere warmer. And a lot of you guys said, what warmer state would you move to? And then some of you said, if it was up to only you, would you be in California? And honestly, we don't know. A lot of it's gonna depend on my husband's job, because his job is a lot more traditional than mine. I can get up and move and pretty much be anywhere. He can't. We've thrown around a bunch of different states, so we're not limited to just one. We're kind of considering a couple of different states. It really depends now that we have children, because I would like the kids to still be able to grow up around grandparents. So it definitely complicates things now, because it's not just about like where we want to be, it's about what's best for our family. Got a lot of questions asking me how I feel about the election. And all I really want to say is that I'm going to be doing in-person voting, and I highly encourage everyone to get out and go vote. But beyond that, that's pretty much all I want to say. I use social media as like a small break for myself. And that's how I want to keep my social media. Like, that's the space I want it to be. For me, I felt like social media this year has just been exhausting to be on, because people just expect influencers to comment on everything. I'm encouraging you guys to use your right to vote. I'm going to be in-person voting. It is so important, but that's where it ends. Someone asked me, why do I make such short videos? And honestly, like, am I missing something here? Because I don't feel like my videos are that short. Back in the day, my videos used to be like 4 to 5 minutes long. Now they're between 8 and 13, so I've like 100% lengthened my content. Let me know down below in the comments if you personally enjoy long videos. I got a ton of questions asking me about people who've appeared on my channel before. So I got a ton of, are you still friends with Michael? Do you talk to Han? Lots of questions like that. I've been doing YouTube now for 10 years. When I started, I was 22. I was in college. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was single. I was literally living in my dorm. Like, that's the place I was in when I started YouTube compared to now. I'm 32. I have a daughter. I'm married. I moved across the country. I moved back. Like, I'm on my 2nd pregnancy. Like, so much life has happened in 10 years. So with that being said, obviously there are friendships in your life that are in your life for a season or a stage, and It doesn't necessarily mean that anything bad happened or there's drama. It just means sometimes you grew apart or your life took you in different directions. And that's what happened between me and Han. There's no drama, there's nothing to tell. I'm sorry, I think people were hoping that it would be more juicy, but there's just really nothing to say beyond we grew apart. It's been 10 years. Our lives took us in different directions, and I hope nothing but the best for her. And then as far as my friend Michael goes, when Michael appeared on my channel, I was living in Chicago. I moved out to California, and he came out to California for a few months, but then he moved back home to Michigan. So he wasn't on my channel because we weren't in the same area. So again, no drama. We're just not in the same place. We don't see each other very frequently, and our lives are very busy. I got a lot of questions kind of along the lines of how do you handle being an influencer when you have a toddler? And the biggest thing I want to say about this is that I truly don't do anything for the gram. Like everything you see is just me being me. It's 100% real, 100% honest. If I'm sharing a product with you or sharing something that I like that I bought, that's what it is. Because if I'm going to take time away from my daughter and from my family to do what I do, it's because I genuinely love it and want to communicate to you guys about it and connect with you about it. Like I used to put so much thought and effort into my pictures. You guys see from my old videos about like how to pose and like the props that I would buy for pictures, and I would plan certain outfits for certain backdrops. And now it's like, hey, can you take a photo of me holding my daughter? Like she doesn't have food on her face right now. This might be kind of cute. I got a lot of people asking me, how is mom life different than your expectations? What's your favorite part about being a mama? And then someone asked me, do you have any hobbies outside of YouTube and momming? As far as how is mom life different than your expectations, it truly is a full-time job on its own. Like if you are a mom, you are a rock star. If you are a working mom, which is all moms, you are a rock star. So I just sheerly had no idea the amount of time it takes, because throughout the day, like doing everything for your child and helping your child develop and keeping everything clean and then planning meals and then trying to clean your house and do laundry, it's like, my goodness, it's 9 o'clock at night and I haven't even taken a shower yet. So I'm laughing at that question that's like, do you have any hobbies outside of YouTube and momming? Because it's like, hobbies? Girl, I'm not even like responding to text messages. I don't even see my friends because I feel like my days are so jam-packed and busy. Maybe I'll get to the stage when the kids are older and they're in school, when I have more time to feel like I have a hobby or like time for hobbies, because right now I feel like the fact that I'm still even filming and posting videos is a huge success. And then the question, what's your favorite thing about being a mama? Honestly, it's like everything to do with my daughter. She is amazing. Just the amount of love and joy I feel every day. Like when I look at her, I literally feel like I'm gonna explode with joy and happiness and love and pride. She is literally my whole world, and I don't care about any of the other stuff. Someone asked me what am I doing to prepare from going from 1 baby to 2? And wow, honestly guys, I am super terrified. I have no idea. Honestly, the thing that I'm scared about the most is I'm a quality time person. My love language is quality time. So for me, it really freaks me out thinking about how I'm going to split my time between 2 children, because now I feel like when Kennedy's awake, all of my attention is on her, and I don't know how I am going to split that and not feel like I'm shortchanging Kennedy and also this new baby, because I want to have the time to bond with him as well. And I know that I had unlimited amounts of time to bond with Kennedy, and he's not gonna have that same experience. So that just really stresses me out thinking about all of that. I got asked if I had any weird cravings, and my goodness, this whole pregnancy has been weird cravings. With my pregnancy with Kennedy, I didn't have any weird cravings. If anything, I was just so nauseous that I was like, what can I eat to stay alive and not throw up? With this baby, it's been weird cravings from the get-go. One of the first cravings I had was McDonald's quarter pounders with cheese. I never have eaten a quarter pounder in my life prior to this pregnancy, and I was the person at McDonald's at 10 in the morning getting myself a cheeseburger. And then it shifted from quarter pounders to Taco Bell bean burritos, and it was like, wow, thank you, baby. Thank you for at least switching fast food chains. But like, what is happening right now? I get a lot of questions asking me about say yes to the dress and if I regret doing it. And long story short, yes, I do. I'm typically not the type of person who says regret. Like I think, you know, I made a decision with the information I had at the time. I don't really regret things I decide on. But yes, I regret doing Say Yes to the Dress, and I'll try to keep it short. I was approached by a casting director about 2 months before my wedding asking me if I would like to be on the show. And if you are someone who has planned a wedding or you're in the process of planning a wedding, you know about 2 months before your wedding, everything is pretty much set in stone. Unless you're buying a dress directly off of the rack, most dresses can take up to 6 months to order. So you're not waiting until 2 months before your wedding to order a dress. So that being said, I responded and said, sure, I would love to be on the show, but I'm not committing to buying a dress because actually at that time I'd already purchased a dress for my wedding. If you know that, me saying on the show I have no budget goes a couple of ways. They made it very possible for me to be on the show and have my wedding filmed by the show. When you're sitting down and you are being filmed and talking to a producer, they ask you to repeat what they are saying. So you can't just say yes or no to the question. You have to say your answer back with the question in it. So if they say to me, would you say your sister is the worst? I would have to respond back with that in it. So for me, I would say, I would never say that my sister is the worst. That means I'm still on camera saying my sister is the worst. And then they can just chop off the front where I say I would never say that. Fortunately for me, I'm a very sarcastic person who has like very colorful facial expressions. So at least I know now, like if I were ever to go on The Bachelor, I would definitely be the villain because I give them a ton to work with. They kept asking me all day long, well, how do you feel about it raining on your wedding? Do you want it to rain on your wedding? How would you feel if it rained on your wedding? Are you going to be happy if it rains on your wedding? But my responses were, no, I don't want it to rain on my wedding. But if it does, I'm marrying the love of my life and it's okay. Obviously, they cut all that stuff out and just put, no, I don't want it to rain on my wedding. And then they chopped it together 400 times so it looks like that's the only thing I said all day. The actual part where they usually sit the brides down and they're like, what do you want to wear for the big day? I told them, I want something very unique. I want something very different. I'd love to find a dress that maybe has a cape on it, like something super avant-garde and different. That's what I want this dress to be. They cut that part completely. And that's when the lady comes in and she brings me these like very simple looking dresses. And that's when I'm like, no, that's not exactly what I was thinking. And she's like, she's really difficult. She just shot down all of my dresses because you literally brought me the exact opposite of what I asked you for. And then the last thing that really drove me crazy was how they edited together the scene of my bridesmaid fainting at the wedding. Everyone who was actually in the audience at our wedding, if you weren't in the very front row, after the episode aired, texted me being like, what happened? That happened? We didn't see that. Like, what wedding were they at? And I was just like, yeah. So what actually happened, like I'm standing there literally getting married and my friend stepped out of line. So I see and hear like a little commotion. So I turn around and I see my friend Jess, the one who was fainted, and she was sitting by my mom and my mom was giving her water and she was on the ground. She was sitting up, drinking water. My mom's rubbing her back and my mom's looking at me and it's like, she's fine. That's how it was when you were actually there. And then when you watch the show back, they added in all of these gasps and sounds like and like sound effects like she fell, and that just didn't happen. Like none of that happened. And after the wedding, I was talking to Jess and that's when she was on the ground and she was crying and really sad and she was saying, I feel really bad. I felt like I ruined the wedding. But that was like after, and they inserted that footage of her crying in the middle. So it looked like I saw her being hysterical, which is just not the case at all. So it was really hurtful to me to know that we were doing literally everything we could to take care of them with like letting them have our hotel room. We were holding their daughter. My mom was taking care of her. And then when they aired the show, they intentionally edited it to make me look like I didn't care. I just feel like, yes, I regret having them there because it was our real wedding and they were there all day. We were like there with them, offering them food, giving them drinks. We were literally letting them hang out with us during the most special day of our lives and trying to make them feel as comfortable and included as possible. And the producers afterwards were like, we've never had this much fun with the wedding group. This has been such a good time. Hearing them say that, but then seeing what they did with it, it's just like, man, That's cold. Alright guys, that was the end of my Q&A. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up to let me know, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. A huge thank you to Corey for partnering with me and sponsoring today's video. Make sure to follow me over on Instagram if you want to see more baby and life updates, and I will see you next time. Bye!